Give me a thumbs up when we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to coverage of Audubon Green Wave Baseball here on a bright and early Saturday morning from Shawnee in Medford, New Jersey. We've got a wonderful matchup here in a clash between the Colonial Conference and the Olympic Conference, between the Audubon Green Wave and the Shawnee Renegades. It's going to be a good one, as Shawnee is coming into this game looking for a little bit of vengeance after a 3-2 loss earlier this week versus Seneca, which was about a 500 ball club, but they are still 16-3 going into this one. Audubon 15-5, coming off of a 5-0 win versus Haddonfield on Thursday. Despite their first round exit in the Diamond Classic, Audubon is still showing the world that they are here to play. Regardless of how many seniors they lost last year, they are still rolling strong. They had even a better record than they did last year going into this point of the season. But we're going into the last week of the regular season in Audubon baseball and in New Jersey baseball before the playoffs start for the first round on May 22nd. Let's take a look at starting lineups as captains, coaches, and umpires are meeting at home plate. For Rich Horan's Audubon Green Wave, Trent Bennell is leading off in right field. Ryan Zimmer is behind the plate batting second. Scott Lynch is batting third and pitching. Charlie Grady is in left field batting fourth. Jack Dempsey is the second baseman batting fifth. Joey Slavin is the first baseman batting sixth. Bryce Dempsey is the DH batting seventh. Nick Caladros is the third baseman batting eighth. And Charlie Copsetta is the center fielder batting ninth. Gabe McCracken is the shortstop, and he will not hit today. If you were curious about what's going on with Tyler Wiltsey, he had a hit in the head on a pickoff throw to first versus Haddonfield on Thursday, and he may be going into some concussion protocol, so praying that he's going to be better for the playoffs, but right now, Audubon may be without their shortstop for a little while. For the Shawnee Renegades, as coached by Brian Anderson, we've got ourselves today number 6, which is Oscar. No, excuse me, no. Sorry, we had they have different jersey numbers for the different uniforms that they wear, and they're wearing the whites today, so I got to look for that. Josh Goulburn is the leadoff man batting in left field. At the shortstop position, batting second is number 3, which is Nick O'Brien. We've got at the third base spot, batting third will be number 34, which is Michael Pearson. The cleanup man is the first baseman, number 1, Oscar Heino. At the second base spot, batting fifth will be number 8, Reed Uccello. The DH spot will be number 15, Chris Aarons. The catcher spot will be number 41, which is, let's see, number 41, Danny Scullion. The center fielder will be number 18, batting 8th, which is, I can't find him on my roster here. Here we go, Chase Roberts. And then batting in the 9th spot in right field is going to be number 7, which is Evan Lohr. On the mound for the Renegades today is number 24, which on my roster is Jackson Logar, the senior right-hander. So it's going to be a good one today. Shawnee is honoring Danny Hill today as he passed away from cancer in December of last year. This is going to be his first game that he will be honored at. His family is here. I got to talk to Shawnee coach Brian Anderson about his legacy in the Renegades organization. In junior high, Danny Hill was diagnosed with bone cancer, and he was a varsity manager for the team. He did play baseball, but because of his cancer and the treatment that he was getting, he was a manager for the team for several years. In his junior year, his cancer went into remission, and he was able to play a couple games, get him into the lineup, but unfortunately the cancer returned and he passed away in December of 2022. So he's being honored for the first time here today in Shawnee, and big prayers out to the Hill family, considering that knowing people that have passed from cancer, it's such a terrible thing that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And from what I understand from Coach Anderson, Hill was a great man, he was a great person, great guy to be around, and overall just not just a great ball player, but a great human being as well. So we are going to go into a quick break, and then when the pregame ceremonies start for Danny Hill, we will bring that back to your attention on our main board as we're going to go to a quick break. Audubon and Shawnee coming up next. Here from the home of the Renegades, Shawnee High School, as the Green Wave look to face off against one of the top Group 4 talents in New Jersey. As the starter this afternoon for the Renegades, is coached by Brian Anderson, is going to be Jackson Logar, the senior right-hander. As the Green Wave, as we said, no Zach Beebe, no Tyler Wiltsey. The lineup looking thinner than ever, but we still know that even in times where Audubon seems like they've been down, they've always found a way to bring back some resiliency in their order and come back with some firepower in their veins. For Logar this year, as the Renegades are 16-3, they're really having themselves one heck of a season. I mean that one loss, 17-3, 6-1 in the Olympic Patriot Division. They started off the year with a 10-6 loss to Cherokee, and then won a whopping 15 in a row, and then lost to Cherry Hill West in the first round of the Diamond Classic, beat Cinnaminson, and then lost to Seneca a couple of days ago. For Logar this year, senior right-hander, he's got one at-bat, but a 0.78 ERA in 2023. 63 strikeouts in 36 innings, 19 walks, 6 hit batters. This is his 8th appearance of the year, as Trent Bennell will be the first man to face Logar this afternoon for the Renegades. A couple of raindrops coming down here and there from Medford, as we knew it was going to be a bit of a rainy one from the start, but with no Tyler Wiltsey, we'll see how the Green Wave adjust to the hardships and the hard times in the order. Logar facing the sophomore Trent Bennell, who's hitting over 400 in his first campaign as a varsity player. Logar is set, he kicks and deals, and the first pitch is a strike on a check swing, and we are underway from Shawnee. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Bennell gets a piece of it, and it's foul. Here's the 0-2. From Logar to Bennell. Barely got contact, and Logar is going to flip it over to first base for the first out of the ball game, and Bantle is retired, bringing up Ryan Zimmer. Really a giant campus here for a high school. I mean, this is not what I'm used to with Audubon having the fields tightly packed against each other. Audubon's baseball fence is 380 to left center and 350 to right center because of the high school track being in the way. Really way different from here in Medford, where you have a lot of wide open spaces that you deal with. As there's a ball to Zimmer. I mean, these Group 4 schools, like I've been to Kingsway before for a scrimmage, and it looked like a community college. It didn't look like a high school. And this is one of those cases where it almost reminds me of High School Musical, where it's just, you got these giant buildings and thousands of students, and Audubon's only got about 800 students enrolled in the high school, and that's not even considering that the athletes, probably about, maybe 20% of them are athletes, 200, 300 athletes in the school. It's 2-1 to Zimmer, the number 2 hitter for the Green Wave, as Scott Lynch is on deck, facing Logar as the 2-1. Fouled back to the screen, and it's 2-2. Logar gets a breaking ball and almost went into the Audubon dugout, but it's still 2-2. Goulburn, O'Brien, and Pearson, the first 3 due up for Shawnee in the bottom half of the first. You're watching coverage of Audubon Green Wave Baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. 2-2. Right down the middle, and Zimmer watches it for the first strikeout for Logar, his 64th of his senior campaign. And there's 2 down for Scott Lynch. Shawnee with a bit of a fierce routine of throwing the ball around the infield, which actually came from Lou Gehrig back in the day, back when he was suffering with ALS, what we now informally know as Lou Gehrig's disease. The Yankees started the tradition of throwing the ball around the infield at the end of each batter. And Lynch is going to sharply ground out to the pitcher to retire the side. We'll go to break as Shawnee gets their first chance to hit here in the bottom of the first. No score. The main screen. Here in the bottom of the first, Scott Lynch getting the ball on the hill for the Green Wave this afternoon, as Lynch going into this one in what will be one of his last regular season starts, because we're going to have 2 seniors battling against each other. The high school quarterback, who is committed to Division I Sacred Heart University, he's coming into this one with a 1.58 ERA, 38 strikeouts in 26 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs. This is his 8th appearance of the year. Last throwing 5 innings versus Gloucester back on Monday. First pitch is a strike to the leadoff man for Shawnee this afternoon, Josh Goulburn. 0-1, swing and a miss, 0-2. Honestly, with the fact that both of these pitchers are going into this game so well off in terms of their ERA and their individual stats, this could very well be a pitcher's duel if both teams know, what they're getting themselves into. If you remember the St. Augustine game versus Audubon back in late April, that was kind of a way of saying that St. Augustine won 9-3, but those 3 runs that Audubon scored were in the bottom of the 7th. Caladros takes a bad hop, and that's going to be an infield single for Goulburn. Caladros just couldn't get a handle on it, and this is going to bring up O'Brien. So the senior shortstop, Nick O'Brien, he is batting here for the Renegades in the bottom of the first with a runner on first and nobody out. Here's a fly ball down the right field line. Bannell going over towards the fans and foul. Bannell was about to run through that guy's lawn chair. He was about to mow him down. That's what Trent Bannell will do. He is one of the most lively players on this ball club. He will stop at nothing to catch a fly ball. 0-1 count. to O'Brien. Throw over to first. Lynch doesn't exactly have a very fast pickoff move. He doesn't give the same velocity, the same oomph to his throw when he goes over to first base as opposed to going over to third. There's the 0-1. There's a strike, 0-2. Here's a fly ball out to deep right field. Bannell going back, and he is there with a diving catch. What a play! One down. Throwing himself out there right in front of the baseball. What a play. Right in front of us. You never know what you're going to see when you walk onto a baseball field. And Trent Bannell, I'm surprised he doesn't have any broken bones yet, because he just sacrifices himself for the baseball all the time. What a play. Here is Pearson. Throw over. Not in time. Another throw. Nothing going on. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Yeah, Lynch is obviously committed for football, being one of the best quarterbacks in the state, being committed to Sacred Heart University. He was getting offers from Maine and I think a couple other FCS schools, but he eventually decided on Sacred Heart, which used to be a Division II school. They just, in the last couple of years, moved up to Division I, because I know Sean Driscoll's older brother, Pat Driscoll, he either went or is currently going to Sacred Heart University. Pretty sure he's an upperclassman there. 1-1 count. Throw over. Not in time. Lynch is trying to do his level best to make sure that Colburn gets no further than first base. He does not want anybody on base, considering that you don't have your shortstop, Tyler Wiltsey. Here we go, runners going, and I don't know what in the world was going on there. Zimmer, maybe, I think he lost the baseball, and then as soon as he got it, it's not going to matter. So stolen base for Goldberg. That'll put him on second base here with a 2-1 count. Two-1 to Pearson. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Let's go, something, chair, Scott.
Strike three. Pearson down on strikes, and there's 2 down. First strikeout for Lynch.
Yo, let's go, keep it in front. Yo, knock it
And this
down,
will bring up Oscar Hino.
Let's go, Scott. Attaboy. Way to get ahead,
There's a strike,
Scott, way to
0-1.
get ahead.
0-1 to Hino, the 4th man in the order for Shawnee. That one is up and in, 1-1. 1-1 pitch to Uccello is fouled back towards the Audubon dugout. Look out, Rich Horan. It's 1-2.
Come on, get with Jerry, Scott, let's go.
Remember, folks, no broadcast tomorrow as far as I'm concerned because it is Mother's Day. Monday will be Audubon and West Deptford, 6 o'clock start time at Union Field. There's a foul ball down the third base line, and it's still 1-2. Tuesday will be a feature game here on DWB on the 16th, Buna and Cinnaminson. Big thanks to Eric Teasdale for giving me the opportunity. It's a clash between the BCSL and the Cape Atlantic conferences. Wednesday will be senior day between Audubon and Heights in Audubon, and then the last game of the regular season is on the 18th in Sterling versus the Green Wave. Popped up foul and out of play. After this, if the inning continues, would be Chris Ahrens for Shawnee. And after Audubon went down 1-2-3, Charlie Grady's going to lead it off in the top of the second for Audubon. One-two pitch. Here's a fly ball ripped out towards left. Grady going over, and he makes the catch. Side retired. We go to the top of the second. No score between the Green Wave and the Renegades. We'll be right back. Bring me back. Charlie Grady leading off here in the top of the second for the Green Wave as they went down 1-2-3 in the first. Thanks to Logar. First pitch, swing and a miss. Grady on time, but also behind at the same time. So 1. Batting 443 in his senior year. 16 for 61, as there's a foul ball. Actually, 16 RBIs. That's 27 for 61. 2 stolen bases, 12 walks, 7 doubles, 1 triple, 19 singles. He's even got a 1.71 ERA on the mound. As the 0-2 to Grady from Logar. Got it on the ground, a high chopper to first, picked up and in time as Hino covers the bag, and there's one away for Jack Dempsey. Here's the first pitch. There's a strike, 0-1. Dempsey and then Joey Slavin on deck for the Green Wave. Fouled back. Took a loud thump off that chain link fence. Similar to the one that Audubon got rid of earlier last year. They replaced it with the wooden pillars and the netting behind home plate, which I've always said I've never been a fan of those chain link fences that go behind the plate because they can rebound, they can hit somebody. Almost like a game of pinball. Can really take some unexpected turns. And Dempsey, see that one right there, that one landed right in front of home plate. What if somebody's standing over home plate and it, hits them? I know it's angled in such a way where it's not supposed to, but physics says otherwise, that kind of stuff can happen. Here we go, 0-2, Logar to Dempsey. Here's a ground ball lined out to second base, but that wet dirt is just going to make it die out there in the grass. And Dempsey is retired, 2 down. So here's Joey Slavin. I mean, if that was on Audubon's grass where they have, the grass drying system where they can really make sure that the grass doesn't get hurt in any way during the rain, then that ball would have probably rolled right to him. But because of how damp the grass is, because it's been raining consistently for the past several hours. I mean, I left the house at 7:30 this morning, and it was raining all the way down to Paulsboro to pick up my producer Brian, and all the way back up to Medford. So that grass has had a lot of time to kind of get mucky and get wet out there. And it also rained overnight as well, so that kind of adds fuel to the fire. The 1-1 count to Slavin. It's inside on a breaking ball. Logar thinks he swung, but I don't think he broke the plane. It's 2-1. No score here in the top of the second between the Audubon Green Wave and the Shawnee Renegades. A clash between the Colonial Conference and the Olympic Conference here on this cloudy but fair weather Saturday morning. 2-1, fouled off towards the left side. That's a ball. 3-2, full count. And Slavin goes down. He worked the count full but couldn't get any further. We go to the bottom of the second inning. No score, Audubon and Shawnee. Here in the bottom of the second inning, moving quickly here in Shawnee. As the first hitter is Riducello. He'll be followed by Chris Aarons and Scullin here for Shawnee. First pitch fouled. Couple of raindrops coming down here. There's a strike. So from what I understand, all the ceremonies for Danny Hill were done before we got here, because I left the house at 7:30, got here probably around 9:20, maybe 9:15. But still, it still was important that I think they did the ceremonies before even Audubon got here. But I was hoping that they were going to do something that I could show on the broadcast so that the families of the players could have that memory on tape, on film. Because from what Brian Anderson told me, the Shawnee coach, Danny Hill was a great man, a great player, and unfortunately the cancer got the best of him. But that's unfortunately the world that we live in, as that one's outside 2-2 to Uccello. Foul ball. Still 2-2. Rain coming down a little bit harder, but really not too many more raindrops, just more quality than quantity, if you will, when it comes to the rain. The 2-2, Uccello fouls it. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Paroli's Printing and Bantles Banners, Signs, and Apparel, the true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. Over 50 years in business, handling any ink-on-paper project, as well as banners, signs, apparel, and promotional swag. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Lynch to Uccello, as there is a ball on the inside corner. Close call there, and it's 3-2. Hot grounder out to first, and it goes past Dempsey into right, a base hit. Talk about a high bouncer. That one just got shot straight into the ground and bounced straight up, and Dempsey couldn't corral it in. And that's going to be a base hit for Uccello, bringing up Chris Ahrens.
Back to the bench.
Runner on first, nobody out here in the bottom of the first for Shawnee. We were supposed to cover Shawnee in the Thank You Classic, which was going to be the second game on Saturday after Audubon and St. Joe's, but that ended up getting canceled due to rain, and we were going to have some really good games. Egg Harbor Township and Shawnee, that was going to be an incredible game. Bishop Eustis and Ferris, that was going to be a great game. Sterling and Kings Christian, Washington Township and Glassboro, those were all going to be great games. I think the last game of the weekend was going to be Pennsville and Donovan Catholic, which was going to be a great game as well. But it's 1-1. One pitch. There's a ball, 2-1. Some fans still arriving on the scene here, 10:23 a.m. Eastern Time, as we've got no score in the bottom of the second inning. Runner goes, here comes Zimmer got a late throw, and diving to save the baseball is Dempsey. So now, it's going to be 3-1 count. The 3-1 pitch. Ahrens walks. So this is going to put 2 runners on for Shawnee. And getting up to the dish now will be Scullin. Danny Scullin, the junior. That one's going to the backstop, and both runners are going to move up. (1-0) to Scullin.
Dad, what school are you, bro? Yeah, shake your head.
Yeah. 2-0.
Audubon.
2-0. Lynch down to Scullin, and that one's going to be up and in. 3-0. So a 3-1 count to Scullin. Runners on second and third for Shawnee. .354 average for the junior catcher. 10 walks, 4 homers. And that's going to be ball 4. Bases are loaded for Shawnee.
That's a wall.
As Chase Roberts, the sophomore, is going to bat here. And Wade Geis will go out and talk to his man, Scott Lynch, here with the bases loaded for the Renegades.
Ted, get ready. Get over. Outfield, catch first, take your cut. Take your cut. Carly, take your cut.
So Lynch working in a jam here with nobody out and the bases loaded.
Bases are loaded.
And Chase Roberts here at the dish for Shawnee. Chase Roberts, the sophomore, 10 for 40, 1 double, and a .250 average, 3 hit by pitches, a walk, and a stolen base. Had 2 hit performances versus Burlington Township, Millville, and Winslow earlier in the year. Got a piece of it, and it's 0-2. Remember, when Wade Geis goes out to the mound to talk to his starting pitcher, it usually doesn't mean that they're going over a strategy. Haran's already gone over the strategy for what to do with the bases loaded and nobody out in the situation. They go over every single scenario in the book. The only difference is that Geis is going out to kind of calm down Lynch a little bit, not really going out there to be anything more than a wingman. There's a foul ball, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the pitching coach, he's not going to tell Lynch what pitches to throw. Zimmer's going to be the guy that's going to give him the sign, and he's going to be the guy that's going to look for whether to throw a fastball, curveball, changeup, slider, whatever. Whatever he's got in his repertoire, Zimmer's going to be the guy that's controlling the show. Lynch is just going to be the actor on stage. But the 0-2 to Roberts is a breaking ball that goes to the backstop, took a carom off of the blue netting, and brings back down to earth here with a 1-2 count. Evan Lohr on deck for the Renegades. 1-2 count. Did he go around? And he did. So a strikeout for Roberts, Lynch's second of the afternoon, and this brings up Evan Lohr. Lure takes upstairs 1-0. The junior Lure batting .368 in 2023. 14 for 38. 1 extra base hit, 7 walks. That's high, 2-0. The number 9 hitter for Shawnee. On deck for the Renegades will be Goulburn, who led off the ball game with a single. Lined down the right field line and foul. Somebody's got that one. Here we go, 2-1 to Lure. It's a liner foul. It's gonna go right to the same guy who picked up the first foul ball, but he's not going for that one this time. 2-2. Shawnee looking to strike first with the bases loaded and 1 out. But a double play could end the inning and give Audubon a new life here early. But here's a fly ball, shallow right. Bannell's got it. Throw to the plate. Runner tags. Throw down is not in time. And a sac fly by Evan Lure gives Shawnee an early 1-0 lead. A close play at the plate, but Bannell's got a strong arm. It's just a matter of that grass stopping it in the rain. If this was a completely dry day, he's probably out. I mean, just saying my 2 cents here, I think if that ball was hit out to right on a dry day, the runner's probably out at home because, you know, the grass is going to have more friction and have more resistance. So we're back at the top of the order, and the first pitch is high and away, 1-0.
Yeah, you tell him, Ted.
Shawnee scored their first run on a sac fly by Evan Lure just a couple minutes ago. And it's 2-0 to Goulburn. There's a strike, 2-1. Here's a fly ball ripped out to left, going back, and it is off the wall. That's going to bring in 1. Going to second base is Goulburn, and it's going to be a 2-run double, make it a 3-run double for Goulburn. As if that was hit on Audubon's field, that would have been a grand slam, but instead, a bases clearing double for Josh Goulburn, as that makes it 4-0. Hold on here. No, excuse me, 3-0. 3-0, sorry. Runner on second for Shawnee. Because the first run had scored on a sacrifice fly. So 3-0 Renegades here. 2-run double by Goulburn off the left field fence. There's a strike, 0-1 to Nick O'Brien. Looks like Shawnee's got, I think, lacrosse going over there on the adjacent field that's all the way down there. It's 1-1. Looks like whatever game it is, it's a blowout, 11-0. But I don't cover lacrosse, so I don't know who they're playing or anything like that.
Hey, Trent.
Here we go.
Hey, Trent, it's not coming to you. You don't have to get down.
The 1-1, and there's a ball, or rather a strike, 1-2. Looked a little low on my end, but he'll have one more to get out of this one here with 3 runs allowed in the bottom of the 2nd inning, as the Renegades lead here in Group 4 versus Group 1 action. Rain coming down a little bit harder. 1-2, high and away. And one thing that you have to consider is that when you're a pitcher on the mound, the rain almost makes every fastball a curveball, and it makes every curveball an even greater curveball because of that slippery grip that you get in the rain. Like, I know that Scott was not looking to throw the ball at that point. His release point was off because the rain made the ball slip out of his hand easier. So both pitchers are going to have worse control over their stuff when it's raining out there and they don't have the same control. There's a foul ball off the bat of O'Brien. And it's 3-2. Full count pitch, runner on second, Goulburn for Shawnee. And that's going to be a walk. Going to third is Colburn, and going to first base will be O'Brien. So runners on the corners here, first and third with 2 down, as Audubon looked like they had a grasp on this, but they just haven't really gotten it. So runners on the corners here is Michael Pearson will bat for the Renegades. Going down to second base, throw, and no, Zimmer pump faked and held on to the baseball. I mean, Shawnee's kind of just running around getting free bases here because we're not throwing the ball down to second base. So the 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Shawnee has put up 3 in the bottom of the 2nd inning as they lead the Green Wave here in interleague action. The 0-2 from Lynch is a ground ball right back to the mound, speared by Scott, and the flip to first is in time. Audubon still without a hit or run on the board. Going to the third, Shawnee leads by 3. Top of the third inning, Shawnee jumps out to a 3-0 lead over Audubon. As we've got ourselves a good one here between two powerhouses from two very different conferences, from the Colonial and from the Olympic, as Logar fires the ball away to Bryce Dempsey, and it's 1-0. 7, 8, and 9 due up for Audubon, as Shawnee has retired the first 6 Audubon hitters in order. Oh, looked a little outside, but called a strike, 1-1. Fouled back. That's a ball, 2-2. Dempsey down on strikes, 1 away. And here is Nick Caladros. That one's upstairs. 1-0 to Caladros. The Greek Freak, they call him. First name spelled N-I-K. Everybody gets it wrong. It's not N-I-C-K, it's N-I-K. He's got a brother that is a freshman, plays baseball on the JV side of things, Theo Caladros, and then an even younger brother, Alex. He's in junior high. I think he's got a couple older brothers, but Caladros, everybody gets it wrong. Everybody calls him Calagiros, Calagiros, or something like that. Everybody calls him the wrong thing. It's Caladros. Caladros. 1-2 to Nick. Nobody on here for the Green Wave as Logar gets another strikeout. 2 up, 2 down here in the third, and retired pretty handily as Charlie Copsetta's up now, rounding out the bottom of the order for the Green Wave. Outside, 2-0. Trent Bannell would be on deck for the Green Wave if this inning continues. And there's a strike, 2-1. Three one. That's going to be a walk. First base runner of the game for the Green Wave is at the bottom of the order as Charlie Copsetta gets aboard via the base on balls, and this is going to bring up Charlie Copsetta. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Gennaro Furness, Rodan & Fields, independent consultant. Check out our Facebook page for more information, deals, and sales. Up high, Logar offers another ball, and it's 1-0 to Trent Bannell. Bantle takes high, 2-0. By the way, in Audubon track and field news, freshman Riley Fayer just took down the 3200 school record of 11:40.44 from 1982. She shattered that record by almost 30 seconds with a 11:14.40 to place third at the Camden County Championships. Big congratulations to Riley. There's a strike, 2-1. I know Dan Casenza, he's the coach of the girls track team in the spring. Demolished the record by 26 seconds, only finished behind 2 runners from Haddonfield, which I think is pretty well known as a good track and field school. Here's a ground ball past the pitcher's mound. Throw to first is in time, and some good defense to recuperate on that play. That'll retire the side on a ground out. That'll be scored as a 3-1, I guess, but inning over. We go to the bottom of the third. 3-0 Shawnee. Here in the bottom of the third inning at Shawnee High School, home of the Renegades. That sign looks so much smaller from far away than it does zoomed up on the camera. I mean, that thing is huge, and if you just zoom out, that entire high school, just massive. Group 4 powerhouse. And I wasn't even showing the whole thing, because there's one building, and there's another one that goes all the way back there. Takes up several acres of land. It's so much different than what Audubon's used to as a Group 1 school. And Trent Bantle just asked the question I've been asking for the past 2 months: why does it rain every single time we play? And he would be right. It does beg the question, why does it rain every time we play? I do not know. Bad luck, I guess. 0-1. There's a ball.
Let's go, kid!
Oscar Hino, the batter for Shawnee, the only man to not grab a bat in the second inning. 8 men came up to the plate for the Renegades. 3 of them came around the score. There's a ball, 2-1.
Let's go!
2-1 pitch. Right down Broadway, and there's a strike, 2-2. Rain coming down a little bit harder. And there's a ball, 3-2. Bantle's right, it rains every single time we play. There was rain versus Timber Creek. There's a ground ball out to McCracken, picked up. Double clutches it, and the throw to first is in time, 1 away. And Hino is down on oh my goodness. Not on strikes, no, he's out on a 6-3. Gotta fight against my own brain. Here's Riducello. Fans still lining the bleachers here. Good crowd tonight here in Shawnee. I say in Shawnee. It's in Medford, but at Shawnee High School. It might be named after a person for all I know. There's Shalick High School, which is named after Arthur P. Shalick. Many of the high schools that I know are just named after towns, but here's a grounder to first, but it's foul. Here we go, 1-1. There's the ball inside, 2-1.
What the hell was that? Was it a strike? Let's go, set!
Swinging a foul tip, 2-2.
Let's go, Scott!
Zipping up our rain tent a little bit here. Keep our equipment dry. There's a swing and a miss. Lynch with another strikeout, and Shawnee is going to have no runners here with 2 down. Bringing up Chris Ahrens. Busy schedule for DWB coming up on the excuse me. Sorry about that. On the final week of the regular season. We're going to have Audubon and West Deptford in West Deptford at Union Field on Monday, the 15th. That'll be a 6 o'clock start time, under the lights, of course. Tuesday will be our last DWB feature of the regular season, as it'll be Buna and Cinnaminson, 3:45 start time in Cinnaminson. There's a strike. 0-2. Wednesday will be the senior day, Audubon and Heights in Audubon, and then the last game of the regular season on Thursday the 18th versus Sterling, and then the playoffs start on the 22nd. Audubon right now the number 2 seed in South Jersey Group 1, which means that if the regular season ended today, they would play the Clayton Clippers of the Tri-County Conference. Buna is the number 1 seed. They would play number 16 seed Gateway, the 1-2. But Clayton is a good team. They were 10-3 at one point in the season, and they're only ranked 15th because a lot of their wins came against tech schools and academy schools and charter schools, stuff like that. And their opponents that they played in the Tri-County Conference, I think their record's under 500 in the Tri-County. But there's a swing and a miss. Lynch records the strikeout, and the side is retired. Lynch, after giving up 3 in the second, holds Shawnee to no base runners here in the third. We go to the top of the fourth, 3-0 Renegades. Girls lacrosse going on the adjacent field here in Shawnee. It's time for DWB trivia time. Today's question is, besides Barry Bonds, who is the leading home run leader in Major League Baseball who has not been inducted into the Hall of Fame? Is it A, Albert Pujols, B, Alex Rodriguez, C, Sammy Sosa, or D, Mark McGwire? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the 4th inning. So we'll go back to the main board here as Shawnee up by 3 versus the Green Wave. As getting his first hacks here will be Ryan Zimmer in the 4th. He struck out looking his first time. Zimmer takes away 1-0. Foul ball. One. Just missed. 2-1. Zimmer, hot shot out towards short, picked up. Throw to first is in time. Nice play there by O'Brien. There's one away. So here is Scott Lynch. He ended the first inning on a ground ball back to the mound. As the Green Wave still have no hits on the board through 3 1/3, as Logar continuing to dominate in a season where he's had a sub-1 ERA as a senior right-hander. As the Renegade in the blue and white gets a delivery on a breaking ball, and Lynch swings and misses. 0-1. Fouled back. 0-2. Lynch in on the hands, but a fly ball out to shallow, rather straightaway center, and a near collision in the outfield, but it's brought in and right by Lure, so he brings it in, and there's 2 down. I don't know if it was just me, but I didn't hear anybody call for it. I mean, that's a fundamental part of the game. It's very adrenaline-inducing not to, to be running over towards a baseball that's hurling at you. You don't want to say anything. You just want to focus your sole attention on catching the baseball. But it's important to tell your center fielder that, that's your ball. You got it. And the dugout was telling Lure, kind of reaffirming him a little bit, saying that's your ball all day. And he was right, and he was the right man to catch that ball. Just wasn't really a whole lot of communication out there. Luckily for Shawnee, it ended in an out and not in a collision or an error or anything worse. 1-0. That one is a strike. 1-1. Bit of a late call there to Charlie. 2 outs, nobody on, as Logar continues to dominate. Here versus Audubon, 1-1. Got him looking silly on that one. Couldn't hit that ball with an oar. It's 1-2. Although with how much rain has been coming down, you might need an oar. Although it has slowed down a little bit. Not really the perfect time for a kayaking joke, but Logar with another strikeout. Inning over. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 3-0 Renegades. to reveal the answer? Yeah. To trivia time. Here we go, bottom of the fourth, trivia time here on DWB. Today's question is, besides Barry Bonds, who is the all-time MLB home run leader who has not been inducted into the Hall of Fame? The options are Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, Sammy Sosa, or Mark McGwire. And we'll reveal the answer right now. It is A, Albert Pujols. 703 home runs in his 22-year career in the big leagues from 2001 to 2022. He retired last year, and we're going to go back to the main board here as Scott Lynch on the hill again in a 3-0 Shawnee game. Alex Rodriguez had 696 home runs, and while Sosa and McGwire both had around 650, they were nowhere close. Dempsey camps under that pop-up, and retired is Shawnee here to start the inning. Scullin popping out to the second baseman, as All of the Lights by Kanye West plays in the background for Chase Roberts, his walk-up music. Although it is a little quiet over here. I think we're probably like maybe 300 feet away, and we can barely hear the walk-up music. First pitch is a strike, 0-1. Here's a hot shot, grounded out to second base, picked up Dempsey with a throw over, and it's in time. 2 down. And Evan Lohr, who drove in the first run of the game on a sac fly, he's up next.
We got some joy, too. Let's go, get it again, get us out of this, let's go.
California Love by Tupac. Love that song. I've always been a person that is not discriminated against and has been very much cool with either West Coast or East Coast rap. I don't listen to any of the new stuff though. All the mumble rappers out there, they don't make good music. You just put Lil in front of your name and then some random noun at the end. Lil Baby, Lil Durk. It's all ridiculous, but one of my favorite rap groups is Bone Thugs and Harmony, the group out of Cleveland. Kyle Schwarber has them as their walk-up song, or as his walk-up song. Here's a ground ball out to short. Diving as McCracken can't get there in the center field on a base hit. Evan Lohr doing himself one heck of a favor here with a sac fly and a 2-out single in his 2 ABs today. There's Tyler Wiltsey in sweatpants, and I thought those were Crocs, but I think those are just regular old sneakers. He's wearing them there. I was going to say Crocs would have been useful today with the rain that we're having, but I don't think I'd keep my job if I wore Crocs on a broadcast, but you only see the upper half of me anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The first pitch to the leadoff man who got a 3-run double for Shawnee, Josh Goulburn here. Had himself one heck of a day. That bases clearing double after the sac fly got himself 2 RBIs on the board. He's responsible for 2/3 of those Shawnee runs, but they haven't had anything since in this one. I mean, Shawnee's obviously looking for a little bit of compensation after that 3-2 loss versus Seneca, a team that was 7-9 going into their game. I mean, obviously, every team has their bad days, but I didn't think that Shawnee was going to lose to Seneca, and I don't think anybody on Shawnee's camp thought that they were going to lose to Seneca, but they did, and I didn't think Audubon was going to lose to Paulsboro. They did. I didn't think Audubon was going to lose to, who else did they lose to? I thought that they were almost going to lose to Haddon Township, but they pulled it through in 9 innings, 2-1 score. Every team's got their bad days, so. And every team's got their good days. And right now, it's a relatively decent day for Shawnee, but Audubon still with no hits on the board. 3-4. Runners going. Ground ball into left. No, diving is McCracken. He's going to stop it, but it's going to be a moot point anyway. Infield single for Goulburn, bringing up Nick O'Brien here.
Let's go, roll, ground ball, let's go! Let's go, take it back!
Here is Nick O'Brien for Shawnee. Takes the breaking ball away, 1-0. This is the number 2 hitter in the order for Shawnee, is with a runner on second here for the Renegades. Runners on second and first, rather, after the infield single. 1-1. Now I'm going to reveal a little industry secret there. I kind of seamlessly transitioned into saying that was the second man in the order. Now, what had happened was that I'd been asked a question of who was in the order, and instead of directly responding to the player, I just incorporated it into the broadcast and made it work that way. I get that all the time. There's players that ask me, you know, what's the score, what's the count, if there's no scoreboard or anything like that. And I incorporated it into the broadcast to not make it look like the player's asking me a question in the middle of the game. 1-2, foul ball. As O'Brien here for Shawnee. He'll be followed by Michael Pearson if the inning continues, but Shawnee looking to get some insurance runs here.
Hey, let's go, Scott. Come on, 1-7.
The 1-2. That one's in the dirt, and everybody's going to move up. That's going to put runners in scoring position here, both of them, for the Renegades.
Let's go. Gotta go 1.
Here we go, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on. Outside corner not called. That one was a little bit off, and it's 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. And that's going to be a walk. Just as Lynch had it under control, the Renegades have the bases loaded again for Michael Pearson. And Geis will go out to talk to his man one more time. So Geis will walk off the mound, and Lynch still out there on a cloudy day. There's a little plane up there in the sky.
Go, Scott. Left.
Quite interesting, looks like one of those propeller jets. I used to get in trouble all the time in Little League because instead of picking at the grass, I would always look up at the sky to see what airlines were flying over me. Occasionally it would be an American and a Delta, a UPS flight here and there. Here's a fly ball out to straightaway right. Bannell going over, takes a couple steps to his left, and the side is retired. Shawnee leaves the bases loaded, but Shawnee's pitching has also made it that Audubon has not been able to hit the ball with a broomstick. It's 3-0 going to the 5th. Top of the 5th inning, Shawnee leads Audubon 3-0 as Logar continues to dominate. This broadcast is brought to you in part by DJK Roofing, South Jersey's #1 roofing supplier with over 200 5-star reviews on the web. Get a free quote today by calling Carmine Rampolla at 856-778-3900. Again, that's 856-778-3900. Looks like one of the coaches adjusting the dirt around home plate. As Jack Dempsey is the first hitter for the Green Wave here in the 5th. As Shawnee had a 2-run double off the bat of Goulburn and popped up over towards first and caught by Logar. 1 down. Sacrifice attempt on the drag bunt there. Just didn't work, and there's 1 away. You know, we were talking about, I was making a joke about how there were just some points where Audubon couldn't hit the baseball with a broomstick, but I remembered there is a game played primarily in Latin America in the Dominican Republic called Vitilla, V-I-T-I-L-L-A, that is actually a game of baseball played with a broomstick. And what would happen many times is that there's no gloves, there's the handle of a broomstick. You don't actually use the bottom half of the broomstick. You just use the handle. You take off the oh, here we go, line drive, right center field. This could be the first hit of the game, and it will be. It's off the wall. Joey Slavin breaks up the no-hit bid with a 1-out double. Joey Slavin ripped it off the bat. That was mere feet away from a long ball. And Audubon's got a runner in scoring position as he absolutely ripped the cover off that ball. If that was hit maybe a couple feet over, that could have been a homer, but just because of the fact that the fence is higher down there. So here is Bryce Dempsey here with a runner on second and 1 away. One-oh. There's a strike, 1-1. There's a kid drawing the attention of the parents back here because he's all alone, like unsupervised, and he's just kind of straddling the JV softball fence with a swing and a miss. Dempsey couldn't see that one, and it's 2-1. I mean, there's some parents who look concerned, and I just find it a little bit funny, but I also have a dark sense of humor, so. Excuse me, 1-2 count to Dempsey. Apologies there. He lofts one, and it's caught it short by O'Brien, but Slavin gets back to the bag in time, 2 down. I mean, I don't want that hit by Joey Slavin to be the one shining moment that the Green Wave had. What you need to do to be a successful ball club is string multiple hits together, work the count, hit foul balls, get walks, you know, get a couple hit by pitches, something like that, so that you're able to advance the baseball. You don't need to look for home runs. You don't need to look for line drives. Just, you know, little floaters. Trent Bennell is excellent at hitting floaters in the shallow left center, right center field, sometimes hooks it down the line. He's probably never hit a ball over 300 feet in his career. But because of the fact that he's able to get those base hits and, you know, little bloop doubles, that's why he's batting close to 400. 1-0 count to Caladros. Got a piece of it, and it almost took out Charlie Copsetta. Now, Nick, you're supposed to hit the ball towards the other team, not towards your own teammates. 1-1 count, runner on second for Audubon as Shawnee looks to hang on here with a runner in scoring position, but Audubon can start to threaten if they so choose. There's a strike, 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Logar with another strikeout, but Audubon gets their first hit on the board. That was what was worrying me the most. Not the shutout, but the no-hit bid. You never want to get no-hit, but Logar allows his first leadoff double to Joey Slavin, but the rest go down in order. We go to the bottom of the fifth, 3-0 Shawnee. Here we go, bottom of the fifth inning. Shawnee leads 3-0 over the Green Wave. It's been an interesting one, to say the least. First pitch to Oscar Heino is a ball, 1-0. Outside 2-0. So I never finished my story with Vatia. It's a popular game played by people in the Dominican Republic, especially young kids, when they don't have, excuse me, the resources for baseball bats and gloves and baseballs. I mean, have you ever walked into a Dick's Sporting Goods and seen how expensive baseballs are, especially if you're buying them for your kid? It's like $8 for a baseball. I mean, like, that's like a dozen donuts at Dunkin' Donuts for the price of one baseball at Dick's Sporting Goods. It's crazy. But the count's 3-0. So what they use as a bat, instead of an actual bat, they use the handle of a broomstick. And for a ball, they use the cap of a milk jug or of a water jug. Some sort of, like, not like a water bottle cap, but the cap of a milk jug. And they use that. And if you grip the ball, or grip the cap the right way, by the way, count is 3-2 now. Lynch will step off. But if you grip the milk jug cap in a certain way, it creates incredible break, more than like a major league curveball, because of the ridges on the milk jug cap that make it just bend almost like a blitz ball or a wiffle ball. Lynch comes back from a 3-0 count and retires a very frustrated Oscar Heino for the first out. So here is Reed Uccello.
Left foot! Well, that's like their fourth home run of the game, bro.
I think Shawnee just hit a home run on the JV field because we've got a whole bunch of cheers from the other side. Here's a ground ball out to first. Slavin will take it to the bag himself, 2 down. Yeah, if you can see through that green fence, you can see, I think the JV players are celebrating a home run. I guess the fence must be shorter on the JV field, but here we go. The DH, Chris Aarons, up here for Shawnee. There's the first pitch inside. But if you've ever seen like how a wiffle ball breaks and how it just creates this kind of aerodynamic disturbance in the wind, which is why it breaks so much, that's why the game of Vatia is like, I know that MLB Network analyst and Hall of Fame pitcher Pedro Martinez, he actually played a game of Vitia in the MLB Network studio one time, and it was amazing to watch because with these Dominican Republic kids, all they would use is the handle of a broomstick and a milk jug cap, and it would almost act like a blitz ball or a wiffle ball. Foul tip, and it's 1-2 to Aaron's. I mean, all the equipment that you see nowadays at Dick's Sporting Goods is so expensive. $8 for a baseball. I think it's like $12 for me to just grab a scorebook, which holds me over for 20 games. It's crazy. Baseball bats and gloves are in the hundreds of dollars. And there's a swing and a miss. Lynch retires the side in order for Shawnee. We're moving along quite quickly. It's 3-0 going to the top of the 6th. Renegades lead. You're back. Top of the 6th inning. Here Shawnee leads Audubon 3-0. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Paroli's Printing and Bantles Banners, Signs, and Apparel, the true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. Over 50 years in business, handling any ink on paper project. And if you need graduation, lawn signs and banners, flyers, A-frames, business cards, or envelopes done right, this is the place for you. Jackson Logar still wheeling and dealing out there as Charlie Copsetta is the first batter for the Green Wave in the top of the 6th inning. As Logar allowed his first hit of the ball game in the top half of the 5th when Joey Slavin ripped one just a few feet shy of that heightened right center field fence. The left field fence is probably about 10 or 12 feet high, and then out in right field it's just a solid 4 feet high. So it is interesting to see, considering that I'm not used to, I mean, that's a steep drop-off from right center to right field, but here we go. Logar deals, and it's going to be a strike. Like we said, Logar, in his sophomore year, 2021, had a 0.43 ERA and a 2.41 ERA in 2022, and then a 0.78 in 2023. Here we go, 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 on the outside corner. And Logar records another strikeout. There's one away. Make that double digits for Jackson Logar. That's his 10th strikeout of the day. And Trent Bannell's up here. One away, top of the 6th. Audubon held to just 1 hit through 5 1/3. He went around. That's a strike, 0-1. There's a ball, 2-0. That's double to Joey Slavin, with actually only the 10th hit that Logar has allowed all season. There's a swing and a miss, 2-1. He pitched 6 innings of no-hit ball versus Seneca on the 17th, but then the Golden Eagles got one last desperation hit in the 7th to break up the no-hit bid, but he had thrown 106 pitches that day. There's a swing and a miss, 2-2. I mean, Jackson Logar is the guy that will always go to the absolute limit, the absolute top of the pitch count, as in several of his starts, he's cracked over 100 pitches and even has gotten to 110 in his last 2 starts consecutively. Had 6 innings, 110 total pitches versus Cherry Hill West on May 1st, and then in the 2-0 loss in the Diamond Classic game, he threw 110 in 6 1/3 on the 6th. Threw 108 versus Rancocas Valley on the 25th, threw 106 versus Seneca, threw 100 versus Lenape. I mean, this guy, Jackson Logar, just a phenomenal pitcher. 10 strikeouts, has not allowed more than 2 hits in a start all season, and Bantle loops one out towards short, and it's picked up by O'Brien. He tried to do a little bit of a fancy flip out to the second baseman, even though he caught the ball, and it ended up looking a little foolish, but there's 2 down. Bantle is retired, bringing up Ryan Zimmer. And with Wiltsey out for the foreseeable future, this really creates a big gray area for the Green Wave going into the Group 1 finals. And Audubon doesn't have to worry about Shawnee at all. All they have to worry about are other Group 1 schools like Buna and Pittman, Pennsville, those... Paulsboro as well, yes. I won't forget Brian. Here's a ground ball out to first, picked up. And it's in time, side is retired. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 3-0 Shawnee. Bottom of the 6th inning, new pitcher for the Green Wave as Charlie Grady is in after Scott Lynch pitched 5 innings of work, had himself 7 strikeouts and allowed 3 runs. Thanks in part to Josh Goulburn, who had a 2-run double preceded by an Evan Luhr sacrifice fly in the 2nd inning. But all of the offense in this game for Shawnee has been in 1 inning and 1 inning only. Scott Lynch shut down one of the top powerhouses in Group 4 baseball for 5 innings, just that 1 inning. If they could have a mulligan on the 2nd, I'm sure they would take it back again. But Charlie Grady with a 1.71 ERA. He is in here for the Green Wave in the bottom of the 6th. 21 Ks and 16 1/3 innings, and Gabe McCracken catches the first pitch on a line drive. Beautiful catch out there, and Scullin is retired. And this will bring up Chase Roberts. 16 1/3 innings for Charlie Grady. Like we said, a 1.71 ERA. 21 strikeouts. This is his third, sixth, eighth, ninth appearance of the 2023 season. Having a couple starts, having a couple relief appearances in between. Really, there's no such thing as a concrete starting pitcher nowadays in Audubon baseball. Here's the ground ball to Caladro. Throw to first. Is in time. 2 down. Defense having Grady's back, hitting that ball into play. And now Evan Lohr will be up here for the Renegades. In the dirt and back to the screen. 0 and 1-0. Three, 4, and 5 will be the first 3 for Audubon in the top of the 7th. Here's a ground ball, little tapper. That's going to be a fair ball down the line. Grady's not going to touch it, and it's a foul ball. That's smart baseball right there. It seems very simple on the surface, but a pitcher's mentality is when the ball's in play, you always want to grab the baseball. But Grady stepped back. He made sure that the ball rolled foul, and it's a wonderful play.
We get IXL from the standoff class.
I don't gotta do it.
Why?
What?
Is it not deal for you?
No, she said I'm fine.
Yeah, we were talking about you Friday.
Really?
Bantle and Wiltsey bantering over IXLs. Nothing better. I don't know how long Wiltsey's going to be out, but he seems fine to me. It's a ground ball out to Grady. That's a fair ball. Fired to first, and it is in time. Shawnee and Lohr had to get out of the way because Lynch had to kind of be in the baseline there for him to retrieve the throw. But one more inning to play. Shawnee's got 3 more outs until they can declare a one-hit shutout over Audubon. We'll see, though. We will see. 3-0 Shawnee going to the 7th. Top of the 7th inning, last chances for the Green Wave as Jackson Logar looks for a complete game, one-hit shutout. A couple of base runners here and there, but the only hit that Jackson Logar has surrendered, which is his 10th of the year, would be a one-out double by Joey Slavin in the top of the 5th inning. 0-1 to Scott Lynch.
Tell Josh we're going to do the legs together.
Lynch 0 for 2 today. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Lynch goes down. 11 strikeouts for Jackson Logar, and he's got 2 more outs for a complete game shutout. Here's Charlie Grady. Grady has tapped out to the pitcher and struck out in his 2 appearances so far. There's a strike. One and one to Grady. Ground ball out towards short, picked up by O'Brien, and he's not going to have a play. Infield single. Just hit it perfectly in the infield. Really couldn't do anything about it. O'Brien had barehanded it, but with that damp grass really slowing down the baseball, that doesn't help your case. And this is going to bring up Jack Dempsey here. Shawnee in no doubles defense, 1 out, and a runner on first. If Logar can hold this off, believe it or not, this will be his first career 7-inning complete game. He's pitched several 6-inning games on his belt. He's had a handful of 6-inning games this year, but Logar has never thrown in his high school career a 7-inning complete game until today, if he can hold it off across his 3 years of varsity ball. The 0-1 to Dempsey. Almost wavered at it, but it's outside, 1-1. Don't forget, folks, our next broadcast will be on Monday at 6 o'clock versus the West Deptford Eagles as the Green Wave go under the lights on the road at Union Field. And our last GWB feature game of the regular season will be on Tuesday, Buna and Cinnamons, and here goes Grady down to second base. Throw is wide. So the pitch was wide, the throw is wide, and that puts a runner on second here as Grady advances on the wild pitch and a 2-1 count. Buna and Cinnamons in our last GWB feature game of the regular season will be on Tuesday. I just picked up for the 23rd, Pensgrove and Gloucester. That will be their senior day. That's the day after the first round of playoffs. They'll be playing a game that doesn't really matter a whole lot in terms of power points because the seeding in the playoffs will have already started. There's a strike. 2-2. Little looper foul. Bryce Dempsey on deck for the Green Wave. Or he's in the hole, rather. Joey Slavin is the next man up for Audubon. 1 out, runner on second. 2-2 pitch is downstairs. 3-2, full count. Audubon's going to fight this one all the way down to the wire. And even in a 3-0 game, they are going to give up. They are not going to give up. Ball 4. Dempsey walks. And that occupies first base here with 1 down. Joey Slavin, who ripped a double off of Logar earlier in the 5th inning. It just landed to the left of where that wall goes from about 12 feet tall to about 4 feet tall, right off that drop-off. That was so close to being a home run, but close but no cigar. Slavin looks to do it again. Shawnee again prepping up in no doubles defense. The throw got away, and it kicked away from Scullin, but nobody moved. Grady had trailed off of second base, but alas, nobody had really moved on that one. Here we go, 1-0. Up and away, 2-0. Logar losing a little bit of his control here, and O'Brien and the Shawnee staff will go out and talk to him. Really, this is less a meeting about strategy and more about calming the nerves for Logar, because that's really all a pitching coach can do. The catcher calls the pitches, the pitcher delivers them, and that's really the best you can do. And with 2 runners on here and 1 out, and when you're behind in the count, the strategy is really just going to be hang on for dear life and hope that ball doesn't cross over the middle of the plate, because Slavin can mash him. He doesn't have any homers this year, but that's because Audubon's in a pitcher's park. He's had a couple balls that in regular high school facilities would have been a home run, but Shawnee shifting over a little bit, a couple steps in different directions. Charlie Grady on second base, Jack Dempsey on first, and a 2-0 count to the number 6 hitter in the order, Joey Slavin. Bryce Dempsey waits on deck. Up and away, 3-0. Scullin trying to calm the nerves behind the plate. Slow down your pace a little bit and try to deliver. Even if you get it right over the middle, he's probably not going to swing 3-0. That would be my guess. 3-0 pitch. That is a 4-pitch walk. And Audubon, after being dormant for the first 6 innings, is now having some life in them. They've made crazy comebacks before. They were down 6-0 versus Kingsway, came back to win 7-6. They were up 9-1 versus Timber Creek, blew the game, came back and won 11-10. Anything is possible in high school baseball, and it's an 0-1 count to Dempsey. Here's the pitch. Grounds one out to first, and it's going to trickle through out to second base, and they're not going to have a play. Green Wave on the board. It's 3-1. That's exactly what you needed right there. That is exactly what you needed out of the Green Wave. I mean, Dempsey doesn't hit the ball all that hard, but with how thin the outfield has been due to injuries, even at the DH spot, he excelled so well. And Audubon is going to have themselves their first run of the game, as it's 3-1. Still, bases are loaded. 1 away, and Nick Caladros looking to deliver. There's a strike, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Caladros takes a strike, 0-2. Maybe Logar needed that. Maybe he needed a little bit of a rattling, and that got him back into his rhythm. Here we go again. Bases loaded, 0-2 pitch. Caladros lofts one into center field and a base hit. 1 run is in. Slavin pumps the brakes at third, and the throw gets away. And holding onto it is Scullin, as Audubon, with the bases loaded, contributes 2 RBI singles in the bottom of the order, and it's 3-2. Can you believe it? The Green Wave are turning into the Green Wave miracle this afternoon as one of the top programs in New Jersey, not just South Jersey, all of New Jersey. After losing 3-2 to Seneca earlier this week, is now on the brink of another comeback. When the Green Wave catch fire, it's less of a wave, it's more of a tsunami. And that's exactly what we've had this afternoon after only 1 hit through 5 innings. Copsetta up. The first baseman is halfway up on the infield grass. If Copsetta decides to do anything other than bunt, he is in direct danger of being drilled, but that might be all they need. Another swing and a miss, 0-2. Bantle on deck for Audubon. Joey Slavin on third base, Bryce Dempsey on second, Nick Caladros on first. I have no idea what pitch count Logar is at, but he's got to be getting close to the upper echelon here. I mean, really. He's been out here for a full 6 1/3, has allowed the bases to be loaded. With the Green Wave starting with Lynch, and Copsetta takes a ball, 2-2. I thought that was strike 3, but Audubon gets a breath of fresh air and a new life here in the 7th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Logar back at it again. That is inside. No, he got him. A late call at home plate. And that's going to be the second out. Copsetta down on strikes. I mean, I don't know how you call that that previous pitch a ball and then you call that last one a strike. Maybe a bit of a makeup call, but Trent Bandel up. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And a foul ball, 0-1. Bantle will stop at nothing to make sure he gets contact with the baseball. Outfield moving a little bit in. It might be the best course of action here for Shawnee. 0-1. Lofts one foul, and Audubon is down to their last strike. Bases loaded. Shawnee leads 3-2. They were ahead pretty comfortably after 6, but the Green Wave with one last breath. Oh, and he made contact with it, and it's a hit by pitch. The game is tied. It looked like it may have hit the knob of the bat, but down to their last strike, the Green Wave with a hit by pitch to tie the game. Brian Anderson arguing with the home plate umpire. He doesn't think that should have been a hit by pitch. Audubon is arguing that it hit his hand, and the umpires will convene here. If the call holds, the game would be tied 3-3 with the bases loaded for Ryan Zimmer. And the call is confirmed. Audubon has tied the game against all odds. A miracle in Medford for the visitors, as Ryan Zimmer is up and still no call to the bullpen. Anderson still waiting. I think Shawnee really should make a pitching change. I mean, Logar has done exceptional. 1 hit through 6 innings, 11 strikeouts. He held Audubon to almost nothing. And then in the 7th inning, it just looked like he ran out of gas, and in the most unlikely possible way, swing and a miss, 0-1. Zimmer is the 9th batter of the inning. Lynch is on deck. He led off the inning with a strikeout. Audubon looked like they were dead in the water and had 2-out life. That's up and away, 1-1. I think I see a Shawnee pitcher warming up. Or at least I thought I did. No, that's an Audubon pitcher warming up. Who is that down there? That's Josh Nolan warming up down the third base line. There's a strike, 1-2. Josh Nolan is warming up down the third base line in a bit of a crowded area, but I don't see any arms warming up for Shawnee. Logar looks to keep this game tied, and he does. Swing and a miss. And Shawnee, after being up 3-0 down to their last strike, has allowed 3 more runs to tie the game. Folks, we're not done yet. Shawnee with another chance to bat and with another chance for a possible walk-off here in Medford. We're tied up 3-3. Please. Bottom of the 7th inning. And a last-minute switch here. Joey Slavin's going out to right. Trent Bannell's going out to left. Charlie Grady is still in the game. And I'm sure many of our viewers were about to turn off their TVs and their computers and their phones and go back to sleep, but that's not the case. The Green Wave have stuck around long enough to stay alive. They were down 3-0 in the top half of the 7th inning. And then 9 batters later, we're tied. First pitch, fly ball, right field, Slavin going over. It's going to be shallow. Slavin calls for it and makes the catch. 1 down. So here is O'Brien. For the Renegades. There's a strike, 0-1. It'll be O'Brien and then Michael Pearson. Here's a fly ball out to right center field. It's down. Copsetta picks it up on a bounce. Going to second. Pearson. He is in there. 1-out double. And Shawnee, after losing a 3-0 lead, gets the life right back into the Jets. And it's going to be a runner on second here for the Renegades, as Charlie Grady will look to hold on. Michael Pearson at the dish. Nick O'Brien with a 1-out double. Runner in scoring position, the winning run for the Renegades. He flies one out to left. Going over is Bannell. He makes the play, and holding at second base will be O'Brien. 2 down. Dempsey calling for no doubles defense, and I think that's a no-brainer in this situation. We could have free baseball, folks. We could have extra innings, but who knows? Who knows? My goodness. What a game this has been. First pitch outside, holding at second is Pearson. That one skipped away from Zimmer a little bit. 1-0. Oscar Heino 0 for 3, 2 flyouts and a strikeout most recently. 1-0. Grady is going to deliver a base hit in the center field. Coming around third is O'Brien, and the Shawnee Renegades have won it in the bottom of the 7th inning. Walk-off single as Audubon fought back for as long as they could. Shawnee is in the face of Trent Bannell. That is not the way to celebrate. Audubon came back in the top of the 7th inning. They did it fairly. They did it. And the umpires are now yelling at the Shawnee players. The Renegades have won it 4-3, but that is not the way to celebrate a win. That is not telling the Audubon players to go, you know what, that's not the way to do it. And Shawnee wins 4-3, but that left a bitter taste in my mouth. No matter what team you're on, you celebrate with your team. You don't celebrate against the other team. Jesus, that's not the way to do it. Shawnee wins 4-3. As Audubon, hey, this was a great game for Audubon. Even though it was in the loss column, it was certainly a great game in the 7th inning. Jackson Logar is your DWB Player of the Game, presented by Doug Does Anything, for the player that can do anything as they were held scoreless through 6, only 1 hit through 6 innings, and then Audubon came back, scored 3 runs with a bunch of lucky walks, singles, and the game-tying hit by pitch, and it was an incredible comeback for Audubon, as they've had several times this year versus Group 4 schools, but Shawnee came back with that 1-out double and then won it on the single, and it ended a little bit ugly, but luckily things didn't get too out of hand. You don't want Audubon players or Shawnee players getting suspended because of running mouths. So Shawnee wins 4-3, and maybe some emotions at the end of the game, but Audubon will pack it up, and so will we. Renegades win 4-3. From everybody here at our crew, here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, my graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, my producer, Brian Tortella, and myself, Dan Wilkins. We'll see you on Monday under the lights at Union Field in West Deptford as the Green Wave go on the road again to face the Eagles. Our next DWB feature game will be on Tuesday, Buna and Cinnaminson. Good night, everybody. We'll see you Monday.